Comments are very useful to have in your VBA code, and there are many reasons to use them. You can use comments to describe the purpose of a procedure. For example, there's a comment right up here at the top. It says formatting macro. It's slightly descriptive. I can even add more of a description in there, and maybe who wrote this macro and when. You can use comments to keep track of your changes. You can use comments for debugging and error handling. So if you think that a particular line of code is causing you errors, then you can test that theory by commenting it out, and I'll show you that in 1 second. And you can also use comments to add notes for others who are taking a look at your code. And especially for that reason, comments are very helpful. I've been to a lot of companies and they brought me in because they have a whole bunch of macros or VBA that someone's created who's no longer at the company. So they asked me to come in and kind of figure out what it is that they did. And 9 times out of 10, when I take a look at the code, there's no comments there. There's no explanation for why this particular line of code is in there or what that particular line of code does. So adding in comments could be not only helpful for your coworkers, whether you've left the company or even gone on vacation, but they might be helpful to you as well, because the code you write today, which seems clear as a bell, may not seem so clear maybe a week or a month or a year from now. So definitely add comments. And you can write anything in your comments, because when VBA comes across a comment, it's going to ignore it. It's not going to execute it. So type in there whatever you want. Now, your comments can either begin with an apostrophe, like you see here at the top of the screen. I've got an apostrophe and then the words formatting macro. Or you could actually have the keyword of rem in there, R-E-M, which stands for remarks. So if I type in rem and then blah, 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 hit enter on my keyboard, you'll notice that that changes to green as well, letting me know here that it's a comment. All right, now let me show you ways to organize this bit of code a little bit better with comments. I'll go ahead and get rid of my rem statement. And what this procedure does, it just formats a worksheet. It takes a range of cells and it formats them. It turns that range into a table. It inserts about 4 rows, and it adds in a title of weekly sales up at the top, which it merges and centers. And then it also adds in totals on the table. So it does a lot of things. But if I just take a glance at this, I can't really tell that. So what I'll do up here at the top, I'll create my first comment, and I'll type in here that this one is for formatting the worksheet, and hit enter. And then I turn this into a table, and that's done right about here. So I'll go ahead and type in the comment here that this is where it becomes a table, and hit enter. I add in 4 rows right about here. So I'll go ahead and add in that comment. I add in my title here. So I'll add in that comment as well and hit enter. All right, so I think I do a couple more things, but I just want you to get the point here of what I'm trying to do. Doesn't this look a lot more organized than how it did before? And if you had never seen this code before and you open it up for the first time, isn't this a lot easier to understand? Now, I also mentioned that you can use comments for debugging or for testing out lines of code. So just in a quick example, let's say that I didn't want the background color that I chose, and I wanted to see how this formatting looked with and without the background color. Well, instead of going in here up at the top and deleting this color, running it, deciding on whether or not I liked it, and then adding it back in, hopefully remembering what the color is, I'm just going to come up right before that line of code and put in my apostrophe and click away. So you can see there that it turned green, meaning that it commented it out. So if I go to run this again, it's not going to add in that color. But later on, if I decide, you know what, I do need that color, then all I have to do here is get rid of that comment, that apostrophe, and it'll work fine. Now, so far you've seen me add in just 1 line of comments at a time, but you can also comment out multiple lines of code. You just need the edit toolbar. Now, we don't see that just yet up at the top. So I'm going to right mouse click on my toolbar and choose edit and drag that over so you can see. There we go. My comment block is this tool right here. So what I can do first is highlight the line, and they have to be consecutive lines that I want to comment out. click on my comment block, and you can see it adds in those apostrophes for me. And the button next to the comment block is the uncomment block. All right, so once again, comments are super helpful. I hope that you guys use them throughout this course for taking notes and throughout the rest of your VBA career.